Guys, guys. Okay, okay. I I messed up. So I'm supposed to have two pieces for you guys. One piece for each month. However, I'm in the middle of spring break. Oh, I'm in the middle of winter break right now, and I only have one piece done. And that was the piece for November. And I procrastinated my absolute butt off this December, and I rarely have anything for my fourth piece. So, that being said, this video will only be talking about my third piece, and I will be talking about the planning stages for my fourth, but I don't have a finished thing yet. So yeah, let's get on with the video. So for this third piece, I had three investigations that I made for it, and I'll explain why there's three in like a second. But I added a new investigation that it's not going to be for the rest of my pieces. It's specifically only for this one. I created a brand model for my portfolio. I made a logo for Vibrant Connections, and it's this really cool eye with like lines over it to resemble a rainbow. Um, I think I was really clever with the way I designed this logo. I put the eye, sent, connections, eyes are the windows to the soul, all that jazz. And then the lines above it for a rainbow, vibrant, rainbow has colors. I think I ate time with this logo. I'm really, really proud of it. And then I just added the stars as a cute touch, and I thought those fonts went well together. And I think I got those fonts from like one of those Instagram posts from one of those profiles that like does like aesthetic matching for like a living. So one of their font matches really encapsulated the vibe and the feel of my portfolio. So I used that. And then I picked like colors on the cooler side to give it sort of like a soft, soft, tranquil vibe because this portfolio is about friendship. We want colors to represent friendship, and I think the colors that I picked scream friendship to me personally. So I tried to do like one of those professional brand models where it has all the logo bits and pieces on the side, mock-ups somewhere on it, the color palette, and then the logo in like different types of colors. The one that I use the most is that ombre one on the bottom right, but I created the rest of them just to see how like blank, not blank, how solid colors would look to offset the ombre ones that I made. And I also made business cards, like that very small picture that you can probably like barely see. That's a business card, and that's real. I printed those out. Well, my art teacher printed them out for me, and then I passed them out during my critique. Guys, I made business cards so because I'm so professional, and I'm so very professional, very demure. And then my second investigation was my character sheet, which honestly is my favorite part. This is my second favorite part of the planning stages for all of these pieces. My first favorite part is the color analysis, which we're going to get to after. But this was a pretty jam packed piece. I was doing four friends instead of just like one or two, so that was five figures that I had to stuff into the piece, them four plus me included. So I decided to do a piece for all the friends that I sit with in my AP digital class. So these are the people who are sitting with me. We're all creating our separate designated portfolios together in one room. We're sharing ideas. We're being each other's inspiration, we're giving each other critiques and all that good stuff. So I thought it would be good to have a piece dedicated to people I sit next to in that class, the people I joke around with while I draw and all that good jazz. So first on the top left, her name is Ultraviolet. She has the power to control UV rays, and she also has a hoverboard. Her real name is Jenna, and Jenna is a lovely human being, and I thought that bright the bright pink color also with the dark color would be cute, and also a little like old school vibes with the bell bottoms and the platform shoes, because Jenna is like a huge 2010, like 2010s is her vibe. That's the decade that she gives off, so I wanted to like push some of that into her character. And then next to that, still on the top row, is RGB. That is my friend Darius. He's a very talented artist, and I decided to make his packs on color because he does a lot of that. All my friends are very vibrant people, but Darius especially. So I made it so that he could control color, and he can. It's like I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched the Flash on Netflix. It came out on CW, but the one with Grant Gustin. I'm saying his name right. He had a hero. He had a villain. Oh, I forgot his name. I think it was Rainbow Raider or something, but his power was he could make people see red and then that would make them angry. It's like that. He can make people see one specific color and that color inflicts some sort of emotion. I think that that made sense. That made sense. Also, I like kind of I have a love-hate relationship with the CW The Flash. It was a good show, but we have beef. And then going right below Darius, that is Jackpot. She is like the Gambit, except she doesn't make the cards explode. The cards are just like really sharp, and she can use them as like throwing stars. And I think there was an anime where a character had a similar thing, and I forgot what it was called, so I can't even give you the inspiration or reference for that. So if anyone finds it, cool, great. If anybody can tell me, cool, great. But yeah, that was my idea for her. Her real name is Nevea. And I picked Jackpot because I wanted to associate her with like some kind of like clown-esque vibe. That's why you can see the face paint on her face in red. I don't know if it shows up well. It should, but I wanted to associate her with some kind of like clowns, and for some reason I associated clowns with gambling, so that's why I was like, playing cards, sure. Because her portfolio is all about clowns. She loves clowns, so I thought that'd be a perfect fit for her. And then last but not least is my friend Dominic. He Last but not least is my friend Dominic. He is also a very talented artist. He's an abstract artist. I've seen him do very much abstract work. So I wanted to do something that was like kind of like adding an element of something otherworldly, like giving him effects going off of him. And it doesn't really show up in the piece because piece wasn't about their superpowers. That's what I'm saving for my very last piece. But I made him a video game character so I can add that like abstract glitch effect on his character whenever I'm going to draw him using his powers. So I made him a video game character that obviously would lived in a video game but somehow found himself out into the real world. And so that's why he has that glitchy effect, because he's in a place he's not supposed to be and his like coding is like his coding is like, why can I not explain this? His coding is like buffering, malfunctioning. I feel like those words were not right to use and that I said them poorly, but I think you get it. You get me. And with all of that being said, my very last third investigation for the portfolio is my color analysis. Now, I said these were my favorite, and that's true because I love color and I love I've never done this before where I like laid the stuff out in like a sketchy plan book way. I usually just do this piece start to finish and just work my way through as I'm doing this. But to actually sit down and plan how I'm using the colors, it's kind of like really cool. I like process of picking the colors, laying them out in like a really weird blobby sketch like I did on the right side of this investigation, and like just laying it all out. It's new to me, but I like the process, so I might start doing it for like personal pieces and all that stuff. So for this piece, I wanted it to be like the title piece of my portfolio. Like if I were to organize all my pieces in a lineup from like my first piece in September to my last piece that's going to be in May, this one right here would be the title piece. That would be the first piece in like an art show that I would set everything up in. Right, right. So I wanted the rainbow to be a subtle addition, and I didn't want it to overtake the piece. So it's an addition less than primary subject. So I used the color wheel as lights. And then on the right side, I planned how that lighting would look on each of our faces as we're laying down on the grass. And on the bottom of that really, and on the bottom of the light planning sketch, I had to figure out what I wanted to be like imprinted on the grass. I wanted the logo to look like it was like stomped into the grass or like branded into the grass. I wanted it to look like it was a part of what we were laying in. So I had to test that out on the bottom and I drew it out and I really liked it. So I was like, okay, we're gonna run with it. So that's what I did in the final piece, and I will get to that. And then the inspiration for the color wheel was a film. It was a the Pharrell Williams documentary, Piece by Piece, as you can see. That movie came out in October. I didn't get to see it until like early November, and it struck a chord in me. That movie is insanely cool visually. As a person who loves color, loves creative ways to portray stories, I think Piece by Piece does that really well visually. And there's this one scene that really like set in stone, that really set the idea in my brain that I wanted to do rainbow lights for the piece. And that was when Pharrell Williams was telling us about his synesthesia. Synesthesia is when a person can have one sense inflicted on them and it would make them feel another. Like in Pharrell's example, whenever he listened to music, he saw colors. And the way he portrayed that in his documentary, since it was made with Lego stop motion, he had all these colorful, transparent brick pieces flashing out of the boombox, and it was incredible. Like I love that's my favorite scene in the movie because of how it's visually represented. So I was like, okay, rainbow lights is the way to go. We're gonna do that. Thank you, Pharrell. And now the moment of truth. It is the final piece. I'm really proud of how this turned out. I sketched all the figures first in red, of course. I love sketching my figures in red. And then I made all the poses from scratch, by the way. Like they just came out of my brain and they happened to work, which I love actually. I'm very proud of that because that it's a very rare occurrence for me when that happens. Just to be able to be like, they'll look like in my brain they look like this, and then I put it into practice and it actually turns out how it looked in my brain. So that was really cool. And the lighting was a little bit easier because I'm still working on like how I draw lighting, how I do lighting whenever like a light source is involved. I struggle with it, but since I planned it in advance, it made it a little bit easier. So, and I made it a point to have the rainbow lighting like hit different points on different figures. So, Jenna has the cool lighting on the bottom of her figure because she's at the bottom of the frame, and Nevaeh has the warm lighting on her figure because she's right next to the light. So, obviously, the red, the orange, and the yellow are going to hit her, but as we get gradually down, the blue and the purple starts hitting other figures as they're laying on like the bottom of the composition. Guys, I know art terms, okay? But I think this piece is honestly really cool. It's not the best out of my three, I will say that, I will admit that. But I am proud of how this turned out. I love this piece a lot. I think it's a good title piece, I think it's a good starter for my whole portfolio as a whole, and I love it. I rock with it a lot. Let's move on to the one thing that I have planned for my fourth piece right now. It will get better, I promise. But right now, I'm just gonna show you the one thing that I have. There's this artist that I absolutely love, and I found her on Instagram because she's great and she's lovely. She's a multimedia artist, and her name is Caro Crafts. I love Caro and the way that she uses spray paint and the physical media side of her art. The digital side is cool too. Her entire creative process is sick, but it's specifically the way that she utilizes spray paint and then text into her art that really like makes my brain tingle. So I decided that I wanted to dip my hands in that, but I'm doing it completely digitally. I'm not doing it mixed media. And I decided to use red because this is the piece where I am going to be paying homage to my boyfriend. This is going to be a piece of me and him, and red is like passion, love, determination is the word that came to my brain, but I don't think that that's right either. But yeah, love, passion, fire essentially, but not really. When I finish the character sheet, I'll explain that further. But chose red since it's like color love, symbol of love. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to implement the the street graffiti style that she puts in the background of her pieces with digital media and hope that it turns out okay. And I'm also going to implement text, so like on the right side of the spread, you can see me like trying to figure out what quotes I want to put. I don't know if I'm going to use any of those, but they're just like ideas I'm spitballing. I really don't know what text I'm going to use yet. I will soon though. I promise I'm going to get this done. I'm saying that more to myself than I'm saying it to you. Manifestation, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all I have planned. Don't be like me, please. Don't procrastinate this bad. This piece was technically due before break, and I didn't finish it. I I'm gonna bust my ass off to get it in before break, but yeah, guys, don't be like me. Don't do it. And that is it for today's video. It is very short, and and I'm sorry that it's short. I really am. I won't procrastinate next time you see me, and that will be in February. So, stay tuned. When in February, I genuinely cannot tell you, but I promise it will be out sometime in February. So just like keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. But yeah, that is all for this video. Please, 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 I'm asking so nicely. Please follow me on all of my socials because I have those, guys. Did you know? And I will see you guys sometime in the future.